fourth wall.
Oh, check that out. We got fun video right there to start us off. And guess what? This was one of the most chaotic episodes of AEW Dynamite yet. We had bitter feuds. There was blood. There was gold. The clock is going to strike soon for boss time. And honestly, we had a company versus company invasion. Again, pure chaos, pandemonium, whatever word you want to use. That was it. Hello, I am one of your hosts, Nick LaRocco, and welcome to the AEW Dynamite Recap brought to you by Dirt Sheet Radio. Coming out here are my boys. Maybe you'll have more than one. Maybe we'll just have Caesar. That'll be a surprise. We'll see.
That's all we need. That's all we need right there. Just kidding. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Caesar, also known as the NoobTube on social media. Don't forget, besides all the amazing things you said, we also had an Orange Cassidy appearance, which is always a good time. And of course,
there were a couple of those.
Oh yeah, there were a couple of those, but let's get right into the nitty-gritty of the main event.
Oh my gosh, main event time. Let's go. We had Sting and Darby Allin, the son of Sting, if you will, alongside the real sons of Sting, taking on Big Billy Starks, Ricky Starks, and Big W Tag Team Champions. For everything about this match was wow. Like, I was expecting something, but these guys taking it to a whole other level all around, including Sting. Look at Sting. Like, man's... I don't know, but he's like 60s, definitely. Jumping off of high objects, and you think Darby Allin will be the one jumping off of.
Sting's probably just like, if I break my hip, I break my hip. Good enough. Let's go. Go for it. Jump. Make it a video moment, and then let's go from there.
I mean, you got like one more month to wrestle, you know?
If I break my hip today, I'll just have a month to recover. It's okay, guys.
No, exactly. And this was the last title match for Sting. Sting's sons, by the way. Like, how are these guys not wrestlers themselves?
How much of a best they are, and they're just purposely playing not wrestlers.
Let's get right into the elephant in the room here. So after the match, as you can imagine, a lot of people predicted it. Sting and Darby were victorious, and after the celebration, a Nicholas and a Matthew Jackson, the Jackson 2 EVPs came in there and attacked brutally, I might add, Sting and Darby. They used white baseball bats up against these fellas, completely drenching their suits, which were nice suits, by the way, in
those were
Allin's blood. And they renamed the BTE trigger, by the way, into the EVP trigger.
I actually thought they were going to call it something like different, like not just change the letters from BTE to EVP. I thought they were going to say something like, this is insert like some heelish tactic name or something.
That would have sucked.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, even if they said something like the EVP something, like I don't know what to call it, but you know what I'm getting at basically. But I do agree with
something the EVP trigger.
No, you know what I'm saying. Yeah, even if that works and it's cool again.
It needs to be a trigger. I'm sorry, I know you don't like the trigger. It needs to be a trigger. It's a trigger. It's a trigger. It needs to be a trigger. We're gonna leave it.
No, I'm just saying, how heels do it, right? They go, we're gonna change all this stuff. That's what I'm saying, kind of thing.
Change everything.
Typical heel up move, kind of thing is what I'm getting at. But still, they did the deed. They set up stuff. They came through, stomped all four, and left covered in, Darby's blood. But the match itself, though, what do you think?
Going to the match itself, it was chaos, and it was the fun type of chaos that it absolutely should be. Notable moments, we just discussed Sting jumping off, 15 feet in the air through the audience? Like,
I'm going to say 15 feet, yeah.
Like a whole 15-foot clearance, and then on top of that, literally one of the absolute greatest boss man slams I have ever seen was Big Bill catching Darby, spinning around once, twice, 3 times, smash right into the ground.
So can we officially say that if you put Big Bill, not Billy Starks, Big Bill, in a proper situation, he can actually flourish really well? Can we say that? Exactly.
Big Boss Bill.
Big flourishing.
I mean, while you guys bring that up, I feel like Big Bill, people still see him as big Cass towards the end of that run, but he's so much improved from that. I think he'd have an excellent singles run as an AEW monster whenever they're ready. He also has some charisma hidden under there. He doesn't get to talk much, but when he does, he's got something on there. I'd like to see him on the mic.
Knocks it out of the park out time. And you know what? That's one of the things. He's able to have these opportunities to stand out on his own because he's not in the massive shadow of Enzo, and Ricky Starks actually lets Big Bill get some stuff in.
The two of them together is actually a pretty good unit. Hopefully they stick together going forward. Maybe
Exactly.
adopt the name. Big Billy Starks. Call us.
Billy Starks.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Come on, King Khan, you know this is what you want to.
Tony, you're watching us. Don't even lie. You're watching our show right now.
Dare I say, we go from one main event into another.
Oh, you almost feel like that first match was the main event. Holy crap.
Yeah, that was main event class. That was perfect all around. We had Hangman versus Swerve Strickland. What are you going to say, Caesar?
I was going to say, out comes the stash.
Exactly. Hangman's lower third, all it said, undefeated. Hangman in 4-0. Swerve also going in 4-0. And Swerve made sure to tell Prince Nana last week. He doesn't want anyone else coming in here. He wants no excuses.
It's all business. It's all business. And that's what he did tonight.
I really like those shots, too, right at the start, where you had them walking up through the stage area, like in gorilla position, coming out there. That was really good stuff. I enjoyed that. They should keep that for like big moments or like big title matches.
Honestly, I was impressed with the fact that Nana didn't throw any things into the ring to like help Swerve in this match. Like you saw him holding his crown ready to throw it. Swerve didn't go for it either. He just looked at him and then, or no, sorry, Hangman looked at him and then was like yelling at him. I couldn't hear what he said because, you know, hearing Canada TV words, but that was a serious, like, I'm surprised he actually got that many, Swerve stomps off the top rope. Was it 3? At least 3, I'm pretty sure.
3 or 4, definitely. And one of them looked like it legitimately hurt him. At least it looked that way.
The part that kind of caught me off guard because the match was so intense was the fact that Swerve was about hitting the pin at the end. You heard 1, 2, and then the bell went off. And all of a sudden I clued back in. I was like, wait a second, whoa, what the hell? Like that caught me off guard so hard because I completely forgot it was a 30-minute time limit. And then all of a sudden everyone in the comments and everywhere was like, yeah, the match was a 30-minute time limit. Now going to a draw, and they should have done the 5 minutes, honestly.
It was the Chekhov's gun. You had the announcement it was going to be 30 minutes at the start. You had the 5-minute warning from the referee, and then time expired.
They should have gave the extra 5. Oh.
Goes to Bryan Danielson. What do you have to say? Oh, we lost him.
he just pushed the button back. So
things too, and you know, speaking of firing the trigger, like this was such a pro Swerve Strickland crowd. Like this was reactions that legends like Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy have been getting like the last couple of weeks. Like he was the star of this night, and I don't mean to bring up the mega star of the night just yet, but wow, no one was getting those reactions like Swerve.
They I don't know. Part of me almost wishes it went full send and was just straight up Swerve finish. But the 3 of them at Revolution for the belt, ooh, it's gonna be something. But we gotta wait. Unfortunately, was it like 29, 20? I can't math at this hour.
Math eventually, but yeah.
Let's just say a month in easy terms because I'm not gonna try and math at this hour. No one wants to hear that.
But perpetual rivals. I love it.
A post-match promo was something.
Oh, yeah.
Go on. I'll let you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, because one of the things that was going on is the timer had expired. 30 minutes elapsed. Then Swerve says, no, not like this. And everyone knows he's going to be asking. He wanted 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
You know what the Hangman did? Cowboy Shiznits. He took the mic and said, no.
That was such as you said, not a cowboy shit move.
That's no cowboy shiznits there. And on top of that, he just left. It felt almost like a double turn in a way. Like the crowd was way too behind Swerve, and they didn't like the Hangman there.
That I'm more surprised that the embassy didn't show up and like throw Hangman back into the ring. I was waiting for something like that to happen.
I feel like too, if they did that, the crowd would have been cheering for the embassy.
That would have been so weird, but in that environment, that would have been so cool to see. We gotta wait a freaking month.
I love the way that they just kept like rolling with the punches and whatnot, because I mean, look at when the table collapsed on them. Like they just kind of did a few extra things before going back to visiting the table. And my favorite part about that too was Prince Nana pointing out where the table was. Like he was the heel manager that placed it there to begin with.
Yeah. No, I know. Or like when what was it? I think it was like a tope suicida. I think, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Yeah. No, I think it was the dead eye on the apron.
Yes,
Hangman hit. You just saw Swerve on the ground, and Nana walks over and starts doing the dance. I'm like, that's like one friend in the game who can't play the video game worth shit, and he's just hitting the taunt button to like help your buddy out. That's what that reminded me of.
Prince Nana has a bard confirmed.
Yeah, Prince Nana's just hitting moves, and all of a sudden, Swerve's just like, okay, I'm stable. Let's go. Let's finish this shit. Even though it finished in a time limit draw.
Sunny and hot Arizona seems like they potentially got a double turn, but regardless, as Hangman was going to walk away, Tony Schiavone, the proxy of Mr. Tony Khan himself, was standing up and saying both men were named number one contenders and will take on Joey Samoa Joe at Revolution next month.
Ooh, my credit card already has a hole in it for this, but this graphic right here is really cool. It's like the triple threat or the 3-part matches across the board. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Match Hangman,
dude. I wonder who's gonna be the next man in his trilogies. It's gonna be that's what my next question is.
Oh, that's actually a good question.
I know
there's a lot of potential people to go. Are you asking that right now? Because I got to think about that a little bit. If you have any ideas.
Oh, I don't want to say any names. Like there's too many. Whether they're new wrestlers or like people who've been catching steam and all that kind of shit. Like there's where do you start? Oh, I know.
Goes to Bryan Danielson. Do you have any ideas?
Oh, he has lots of ideas. He's just waiting in the corner, pull out ideas and just throw them out as like a book. Where was it? No, but the post match promo with Joe, he was heated.
I mean, hey, listen, rightfully so. I mean, Homeboy has to literally take on against two guys whose match ended in a draw. I mean, if I was him, I understand that. I understand it completely.
I don't know. I said it before, and I'll probably say it a few more times throughout the night. I still think it should have been like a Swerve and Joe match, but with the way that the boys did tonight, let's let them have a 3-way. Let them have a triple threat, kill each other.
Get that triangle match. I mean, hey, if they did that, it's one of those things. We mentioned this last week, and we mentioned this on the flagship pod. Is just like, where would you go with that though? If like one guy gets a match but the other doesn't, I mean, yeah. Hangman already kind of has a built-in post rivalry up against Adam Cole's group, Undisputed. Undisputed Gentleman, Mr. Wardlow, if you will. Thank you, Dasha.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's something.
I don't know. I think that I do agree with that angle because at the end of the day, if you're looking at the writing on the wall, so to speak, or however you want to explain it, it seems like the way that's seeming the best way to do it is all three guys. But then again, it brings up the next question: who wins and who takes the pin? That's the other question you have to ask. Exactly.
I mean, the way I see it, like within this triple threat, remember, Joe doesn't have to get pinned to lose the title.
So the ref could get pinned even.
Exactly. There we go.
That'd be something, hey?
No one ever thought of it.
I pinned Bryce, whatever his name is. Yeah, Bryce Ramsberg.
Hey, technically it's a part of the match. I mean,
if it's oh my God, if it's Aubrey, then that's a different story. If you know, you know.
Well, as we go, speaking of the women, then we had the women's match. We had Timeless Toni Storm taking on Red Velvet. Stir it up, stir it up, stir it up. And this was a world title eliminator, meaning if Red Velvet won this match, she would get a women's title shot. Deonna Purrazzo joined commentary, and we truly had a commentary team of Italians alongside Excalibur. All we needed was Daddy Magic to be added on there.
Oh, man. I got something in regards to those guys, but I'll say it's for later in the show. But anyways, this picture,
Kith.
You know everyone in the front row. Yeah, one guy in the background's like he's in this thing makeup, but he's just like,
oh no! And that fan is here today. Come on out, Matthew. No, but Red Velvet tapped right at the end there. Deonna taking a sweet time running in there as Toni Storm makes sure that Deonna sees that submission hold in play. Storm's not letting go of it. And one of my favorite parts is when Deonna and Toni Storm are getting a little too close for their own comforts, if you will. And Juice was getting jealous, and Steve Macklin was getting jealous. All of a sudden, Luther comes in to separate them, and the crowd's chanting Luther.
Luther for world champion 2025. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. Khan, you know what everyone wants. Let's do it.
No, not as his old gimmick, as this gimmick. Just give him the suit, let him just go up and just start dropping people left, right, and center.
Exactly. I mean, keep him in the suit. Where's Serpentico? He needs to be a part of this too.
Isn't he with the SAP still? I'm pretty sure he is.
It's just him and a helicopter.
Yeah.
Let's bring them in here.
Luther disappeared.
Servants.
But like if you did that, would Serpentico wear the mask still? I wonder. And would he keep the same name?
I mean, they take the mask off him on occasion.
I mean, it'd be so trippy though. Could you imagine that? This is Luther and not Serpentico, and he's just wearing like shades and like a suit. It's like, whoa.
I love to that during her entrance for Tony Storm, they said that she's going out of Studio 7 at Warner Studios.
Yeah, I know. I heard that.
That was great.
I was like, in my head, I'm like reciting the usual one, like, and here's Tony Storm from Gold Coast, and then I heard the studio. Like, wait, what was that again?
That's perfect. I feel like too, especially like they need to start referencing like the different studios when they go to like Orlando or Hollywood.
Okay, I got a good one for you. Speaking of locations, do you remember that like WrestleMania where Cena came out in the old school vehicle and Punk was on the side of the vehicle, like holding on? Like,
Yes,
they
that
were
was
gangsters.
WrestleMania 22. I was there.
Sweet. Now imagine could Tony Storm do something similar, like an 80 or 80s? Oh my god, like a vehicle of that era with like her own entourage, like Revolution, for example.
I mean, that'd be pretty fun. My thought process there was going to like do like a 20s thing or like a flapper type of thing. I mean, stuff like that would be fun.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like some kind of like very
era
related esque entrance. Like you know for a fact that it wouldn't be hard to throw together, and she'd kill it super hard. It'd be cool.
Exactly. Now, speaking of cool and killing it, we had one of the greatest backstage segments of all time.
Yeah.
Cassidy finally making his first appearance of the night alongside Rocky Romero, Trenty B. No Chuck Taylor. He's exam, so hopefully he's going to be okay at this point in time. And Renee Paquette.
It's always a blast when Renee's there.
I right here during this segment wrote out in my notes, I'm surprised we didn't get Chuck Taylor getting jumped off camera during his exam.
That would have made more sense than the, oh shit, we're going to go backstage, blah, blah, blah.
Glad that doesn't happen later.
Dun, dun, dun.
So
I just love how awkward OC sounded. He's like, so yeah, Renee, we're going to go check out Chuck getting checked. We're going to check out Chuck getting checked out. It's just the way he says it. It's so OC. Because
I love it. I live for the awkward chic, bro.
But it's like it's not like awkward like everyone goes cool. It's awkward. We're like, why are we joining in? Well, we're joining it. We're still like not like aware of it. Yeah, and then of course Renee's like, hey guys, hands in, and everyone's just like, sure, whatever.
Right, Caesar, come on, hands in the center.
Yeah, chat, let's do it. Woo!
Thank you, chat. Thanks for.
I don't know what we don't have a saying for that part. Sorry guys, we're just kind of winging it here.
All right. Speaking of taking to the sky, we had the Blackpool Combat Club taking on some CMLL invaders. Mox, Danielson, and Claudio defeated Hechicero, Volador Jr., and Mascara Dorada.
Dude.
This is a major crossover. Also, can we appreciate that CMLL theme song is so cool.
Dude, I gotta say, Hechicero, or I probably butchered that possibly, and Dorada, those two were freaking insane in that match. Holy crap.
No, absolutely. So we had a couple of luchadors that were sitting ringside, Esfinge, Mystico, and Star Jr. And after the match, and we saw the graphic pop up there where they announced that Star Jr. and Esfinge will be taking on Mox and Claudio. Caesar, back to what you were saying.
Honestly, I can't remember what part of the match that Tony said it, but he was saying something like, or Tony or Excalibur, they were talking about something like some of the moves that they're doing that people have never seen. And Hechicero did a lot of moves that I was sitting there going, how? Like, there was that one he did like a weird, almost like a oh shit, how do I explain it again?
It was like are you talking about like the knee breaker almost?
It was like where he like jumped at like I think Claudio and basically closed down with his legs and then like landed him on his head or something like that. Like, there was some shit that was
that was one move I saw that Mad Scientist do where like he just completely broke the kneecaps of Claudio Castagnoli.
I'm still trying to process how he did some of those holds on Claudio and Danielson.
Hechicero is jacked, by the way. Like he's strong, he's bulked. He is just insane.
But the way he did it was like as if like that. Yeah, that one friend who's got like their computer keyboard turned sideways and starts smashing buttons and goes, "Did it?" And you're like, "How?"
He's
the hell
expert.
But it was like at the after he would have done it, he would have stood up and been like, "Nailed it!" Like it was actually so goddamn like yeah, exactly. Just There's one swipe. He's so cool. Yeah. Like,
I love the fact that he comes out like an executioner and then he just turns into like the mad scientist in the ring. It's kind of a fun little double.
Dorado was hitting spots left, right, and center off the top rope, through the rope, across the rope, under the rope, through the ring. Like, I don't know how they can do this shit so flawlessly.
Yeah, and I mean, no disrespect at all to like Volador too, because like, you know, the man can go. Like, he's definitely the most like, technical of the group. But wow, like honestly, like Hechicero and Mascara Dorada just stole the show there.
Like, and the fact that you could actually, I was sitting there going, okay, at first I was thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be a 6-man match. It's going to be good. We're going to have probably some heavy hits, and then this just goes everywhere. And I'm like, shit. I got to process the match somehow.
Yeah.
Got to turn on my brain and just got to focus for a little bit. I couldn't even do that. So
before the match even started, I wrote down in my notes that like in D&D terminology that this was a battle of acrobatics versus athletic rules. It was like dex and dex versus strength, con, and wisdom.
See, I mean, I did speak about both these guys, but in mine I put down like the match with BCC versus CMLL, and then I only thing I wrote down. Oh,
I just wanted to say, well, first of all, sorry for the way I sound. My fucking house just half the house power went out, so I'm controlling the stream from my phone now. But
nice
about this particular CMLL AEW feud, there's a couple of things that really fascinate me about this. One is that I mentioned this on the pod, the flagship show, that Moxley was being booked as a heel. Like, he started the problems with CMLL and he got jumped for a good reason. So this week they furthered
themselves.
Yeah, like, and they furthered the bullshit and they continued to antagonize the CMLL wrestlers who are literally just chilling. They're just like, hey, we came to watch wrestling because y'all jumped our guys last week. Like, and then, of course they do it again. So I have this idea.
Remember, Claudio cheated, so they ran out to dispute it.
Yeah,
100%. They were absolutely right to do that. Yeah. And then they got chased off like they did something wrong. So I believe that AEW is going to do their Forbidden Door show in Mexico, and that's going to have AEW. It's not going to look weird when all the AEW guys are getting booed out of their fucking ass because of the passionate Mexican fans who are here to see their guys win. Same thing. This reminds me of the Ring of Honor CZW in that it started in this contained area within the card, and eventually it spread until the whole roster was fighting each other. And I have a feeling that that's going to be the situation here, where it's like it started as a BCC issue, but clearly it's going to spread until it's an AEW and CMLL all-out war. And I'm really excited to see how they continue this on, because I love interpromotional wars like this. This is my shit. So I'm really excited to see this. I know I've seen a lot of more entertainment style fans say that they think this is boring, but this is real. Mm-hmm. This is real pro wrestling shit. Like, this is awesome.
This is a massively awesome shit.
So yeah, those are my little thoughts about this CML AEW feud. I definitely wanted to get that out there.
And even that too, like an invasion angle, like how is that not entertaining in any way? I mean, anytime there's ever been, look at sports entertainment, mind you, like anytime there's ever been a WWE invasion, when has that not been exciting? Yeah, it might not have always been, the biggest stars involved on either end necessarily. I mean, look at WCW's invasion of WWF, but it was still fun. That was one of the biggest non-WrestleMania drawing shows, if not the biggest.
Well, because like what's also is the way you gotta look at it is like this, right? Let's say they do bring in the biggest guys right away, then everyone's gonna be like, okay, we're just gonna watch for those guys. But if you bring in the other guys as a slow burn, then they'll wait to watch. They'll watch those guys on that show. And then, like, the next episode, it'll be on the other show, and then their guys will go to the other show and fight them, and then go back and forth. And also mention the fact that I hear what it was, but there's like when WWE went against like ECW before everything went to the Alliance kind of thing, and all of a sudden you just saw like guys like coming through the crowd with like weapons and ECW shirts, and you're like, what the hell is that? Because you just see people walk through the crowd, you think they're just fans. No, they're assholes with weapons. They're gonna start tuning people, and we're all about it. Let's see some WTF moments, especially after we saw Hechicero and Mascara Dorada. Oh my god, yes. I can't even English it. Now I got a question in regards to the post-match situation.
Yes,
So
I'm going to get to one point real quick before.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, too, I also really appreciated that Hechicero and Danielson still had a lot of unfinished business, and you noticed they kept going at each other.
Oh, yeah, you could feel it through the TV even.
All right, but yes, Steve, what was your question?
So, as we saw at the end of the match, everyone started freaking out at each other, starting threaten each other. The typical situation because Claudio low blowed.
Right.
Was it Hechicero, I believe?
Yes.
Which is understandable. Who wouldn't be pissed off? And then all of a sudden, let's just call it the reinforcements came out. AEW boys came flying to the ring. Now, if you look closely, I don't know if our fearless leader has a picture of it or a screenshot, but what the hell was Ange carrying into the ring? Did you see that?
It wasn't a machine gun at first.
I saw it. I was like, "Yo, is he just wielding random shit from the back? Like, are they coming last week was a pipe? This week is just that thing. Like, what's next week gonna be? Just like a chair?
I think someone had a spare turnbuckle too.
I'm waiting for him to come up with something ridiculous like that. I saw that and I was like, this man really better be just grabbing random shit on the way out to the arena. Like, it can't be planned crap he's grabbing. Like, I want him to come out one week with a headset on and a clipboard or something, or just come out a hair dryer for no reason.
It's the thing where Tony Khan says, "All right, you guys have 5 minutes. Go in the back, find whatever weapon you can, come back here. That's what you're bringing out."
That's what I'm hoping it is. It's Tony's just running through the back room, going, "Hey, you two, grab something. Let's go," and doesn't tell him what's going on. I hope it's something ridiculous like that because, it's just the fact that you just see Ange wielding a weapon. That, what do you call it? A blade, a bat, a pipe, a metal object?
I'll consider it a foreign object. It's the international object. What is it that they wanted to try calling it? Anyways, I think it's something to do with tightening the turnbuckles or at least holding them. I think I've seen it before.
It's like a metal kazoo.
It was like a full-on xylophone.
I don't know. It looked like the thing you'd use to play Yu-Gi-Oh with. You remember those things?
The dual disc?
Yeah, they put on their arm.
Oh, what deck would Cool Hand Ange use?
What if he's in the back room playing Yu-Gi-Oh with some of the boys and that shit went down and he's got his whole deck across his arm?
That's the real forbidden door. Everyone just duels.
Look, I don't know. I do agree with that. All
right, Chad, let us know what deck you think Cool Hand Ange will be using in a Yu-Gi-Oh battle.
If you guys don't know, then yeah. One week he's gonna come up a super soaker full of soda or something and just start spraying the CMLL guys.
That's the complete opposite of where I thought you were going with that. I was
I wasn't gonna say
dose of poison.
I was gonna say tequila originally, but anyways, let's get back on topic, shall we?
Also, where is Yuta? Does anyone know where Yuta is? Because this could have been a 4v4 even.
Nah, he's too young.
And the other thing too is the same group of guys: Cool Hand Ange, Daddy Magic, Matt Sydal, and Christopher Daniels, who were defeated on Rampage last week, came out to again even the score get their payback
and wield a random weapon. Don't forget that.
Wield whatever it was they could find backstage.
I really hope, like I said, I hope every week it's the most ridiculous item he can find.
And speaking of the most ridiculous item you can find backstage, Chuck Taylor got attacked by the Undisputed Kingdom, the Undisputed Gentleman.
Oh my god! I thought that was what was on the ground? It was like a bracelet.
Chuck Taylor.
No, obviously. Thanks. Yeah, tip 10 out of 10 for you. No,
thank you.
Or Daddy Meltzer is gonna give you an 8 out of 5 for stars just for that comment right there. No, but what the guys? I saw they pull up with the camera and there's something on the ground. Chuck's on the ground. Of course, Adam's in a chair.
Adam, do we have a picture of Chucky T getting on the ground so we can see? Because I think I do remember seeing something there. But at the same time, on my notes, I was writing down, I knew it because I knew this was going to happen at some point. But it was a random spot to all of a sudden we have this big crazy invasion angle going on, and then wow, there's something else going on backstage, and it's an attack that had already just happened.
Do we see that no one really wants to pay attention to them right now? Dare I say?
Dude, it almost kind of feels like that. And at the same time, the one thing I do appreciate, this is back to their calling card. We never see them we usually see the tail end of attacks, or we see the attacks already done. So I'm glad that they at least came back to that spirit.
Yeah. They need to do the angle from the old school days where they start kicking the shit out of somebody and it leads down the ramp during someone else's match.
And again, we mentioned this a little bit earlier, but we're going to be having 3 of the Undisputed Gentlemen. The gents will be taking on Rocky Romero, Trent E.B., and Orange Cassidy. That will be Friday night on Rampage. And then we go to commercial, and we come back, and we have one of the epic moments. Big business. Tony Khan himself announces AEW's return to the TD Garden. We definitely have some vibes going on with the first dance, but if you notice on that left corner,
what do we see?
We have Boston with double dollar signs. Did someone in marketing, did a graphic designer make a mistake? All right, we need to redo this. I don't know.
What do you think, chat? Is that a mistake? I don't think it's a mistake.
Chat, will someone be driving a Mercedes through here, maybe?
Maybe they'll be flashing some Monet.
So, you know what else I noticed that I didn't think was a mistake? They had the Mercedes tees right there, Bosstown. But next to the Mercedes tees, you also have more dollar bills. Now, that could just be more Mercedes stuff, but as someone who's really into graphic design, that would be really redundant. And I don't believe that that's what that is. I think we're getting a double debut at AEW Big Business. Also, it's not AEW Dynamite Big Business. It's just AEW Big Business. Like, they set it up like a pay-per-view event. So I did want to post that out.
How come in business the first dollar sign or the first S is a dollar sign, but the last 2 aren't?
Budget.
Oh. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that, actually. I want to speak to somebody. This is bullshit.
This is my OCD right now. Also, that Orange Cassidy on the bottom left.
Of dollar signs.
Yeah, or Julia Hart randomly placed on the side, too. You see that?
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy also. Tiny little Orange Cassidy under the bus town.
Who's that in twins, like, under, like, Swerve and Joe on the skyscraper? Is that someone?
That is... Actually, it is. I can't tell who it is, but there's somebody, or maybe it's a tree.
Where?
That high?
Under Moxley.
Oh shit! I see that.
Right, it's like a tree or some shit on top of a building. Also, there's a very nice space right in the center of the poster where I believe Mercedes fits. But yeah, no, big business. I'm excited. I want to know. Are y'all big on Mercedes coming to AEW, or are you part of those people that are like, she wasn't good anyway? I just don't think she's going to be good here because the women's division
is curious to see what's going to happen.
What I wanted to be. Man, fuck that. Women's division has been on fire the last 3 months. That shit's been heat. Oh, yeah. This is the cherry on top. This is the perfect cherry on top of what they've been building with the women's division. That outdated ass early 2023 insult, that shit is tired. That shit is boring. And I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. I'm going to start flipping on people.
Should we drop a question right now about women's wrestling, or should I say that for after the review? What do you think?
We're talking about it. You're talking about it right now, so don't. You already broke the stream by asking the question.
It's out there. Just go for it.
Okay. Well, because I know I've seen our page specifically posting about it, so I thought, let's see what everyone in here thinks about this topic. And that is the topic of a certain women's wrestler named Camille, and where she's going.
She's going to AEW. That much is obvious
at this point. Especially something happened backstage. They won her over.
They gave her a locker room.
We said this when she showed up at Dynamite in the first place after getting an NXT deal. She's backstage at Dynamite. You already knew something was wrong.
I mean, look at the caliber of a champion she is, and look at how long she's held that title for. So on top of that, I'm sure maybe she deemed it like, why do I have to go to NXT? Why can't I just go to the main show? And where's AEW 11?
She actually did tweet. She tweeted a couple of things that felt like she was addressing that. Why do I have to go to NXT in the air? Where she basically said, like, I have wrestled. I've been the best part of NWA. I know how to wrestle on television. I know where the cameras are. I know how to work a story. She basically did all that shit. So basically defending herself against people who were telling her, like, you should have went to NXT. But a friend of mine made a point that AEW already had Megan Bayne, who might be like a better in-ring wrestler. But I felt like Megan Bayne is great, but it's like there's nothing wrong with having more than one giantess. Do you not like giant mommies?
Snoo.
That's by snoo. Plus, on top of that, look at the star caliber they've been bringing in.
I'm down, man. They brought in Deanna. They brought in Mariah May. They bringing in Mercedes. They bringing in Camille. They got Serena Deeb back. They got Britt Baker coming back. They got fucking Jamie Hayter out there. Tony Storm doing the best character work of her career. And tonight she was wrestling again. I was like, hell yeah. This division is on fire. I don't want to hear bullshit. Like, people will put people. You know what? I won't even get into the tribalism shit. But this particular division right here within this bubble is heat, and anybody who says otherwise is just not watching.
Oh, absolutely. And again, like we said, how many women's wrestlers have they brought in? How many women's wrestlers have they developed? I mean, look at how green like a Red Velvet was. And then we saw earlier, she's definitely improved. She might not be the same caliber of a wrestler as some of the others, but she's still like way better than when she started compared to
I know.
Arguably where a lot of WWE wrestlers might not honestly have advanced from their NXT period to their main roster periods.
No, What I was getting at about that, I knew we were gonna hear that from both of you guys about that, but like, it's just entertaining because like he was saying, it's like how some people are like, oh, you should be starting here, blah blah blah. It's like, well, if the person's done the work, done the time, done this, done that, then why should they go to like the bottom of the list? Why can't they, start like at the the front door, so to speak, like WWE, or in this case, where she's gonna go, AEW. My question is, who would her first feud be? Ooh.
I guess there's some objective, like, you should learn how to work WWE style before you go to WWE. And in their minds, even if you've been on NWA TV, the way they see NWA, they're just not going to think that's enough experience. I mean, they didn't think Jade was prepared. Like, she hadn't been working on national cable for the last 3 years. So they're definitely going to be like, oh, this girl came off of YouTube. She needs to learn where the hard cam is. And you know what? That's insulting for some people. So it's just both sides not being what the other wanted right now. You know what? Too fucking bad. That's a W for Tony Khan. I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
TK's cooking.
King Khan.
But where's that bouncy castle he promised?
Or the pillar fort. Come on. Or the giant salad.
Ooh. Revolution.
One of the things, though, is, especially in any time I have watched, and admittedly I might not be the most well-versed in Camille's matches, but what I have seen, I mean, she definitely has that sports entertainment quality. And speaking of those with sports entertainment quality, Caesar, what's up?
I will say throughout the pandemic, I'm going to go a little bit farther back for 2 seconds here. Throughout the pandemic and then throughout the past, I don't know how many matches I've seen women's wise, when it comes to like, shall we use the term unknowns? When it comes to AEW and WWE, AEW's done better work with the unknowns and the indie girls to make us fans and viewers want to watch and actually be enticed with the matches. Whereas WWE is just like, okay, here's so-and-so versus so-and-so, and they're going to get leveled and it's over. And again, to use your original point, Red Velvet, for example, I knew nothing about her, and then she showed up, and I was like, all right, let's put my feet up, let's watch her. Here we are 5 years later, and she's doing good, she's doing better, but she's still got room to improve, of course. I mean, I'm not saying she's bad, I'm saying like,
right,
just because you're 7 out of 10 doesn't mean you can't go to 10 out of 10, right? Like, you still want to keep excelling, don't want to plateau, basically is what I'm saying.
Yeah, bro. And like,
she's
that's one of the things too.
She's right.
You know what I mean?
She's gotten way better though, and especially too, like look at so many of like the homegirls, like an Anna Jay too, and even the Renegade Twins went from literally just the jobber girls to now, if you watch them on Ring of Honor, and they've definitely improved themselves.
People, speaking of the Renegade Twins, people have been really pulling for them to be Mercedes Moné's heaters when she comes in, because
I'm okay with that.
She had teased, like not teased, but she had kind of playfully said like a year ago, she took a picture with the Renegade Twins and she was like, I'm starting a faction in Stardom, and then people went back to that like, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I would actually be okay with that. I mean, we might as well talk about, but before we move on, since we were talking about big business or whatever, we might as well talk about Mercedes coming to AEW. Like, what do you see her doing immediately? How do you see her starting her AEW run? Who's she working with?
Sorry to say this, but the reason I'm laughing really hard is because you said Mercedes Moné and her heaters, and then on my phone, Twitter popped up with Mercedes Moné tweeting something, and I started laughing because the timing.
She did actually tweet
synchronicity.
She
I thought
did
it was really
tweet
funny
some
'cause I'm
song
like,
lyrics tonight.
she's watching us.
Hey, Mercedes, chat, welcome, Mercedes.
Nico
Yo,
Extra
Nico
thinks she should
Extra.
work Tony Storm immediately. That's a great idea.
The Deanna
I
Purrazzo
don't think
strap.
it should be immediately because one, it sets a really bad example for the girls in the back when you bring someone in big money and you immediately put them on like you just shit on what you've been building for the last year. It's like the Rock thing.
Maybe-
We just saw what happens. Obviously it's on a smaller level, but you just don't want to fuck with your locker room like that. I mean, obviously you want to build to that. Mercedes Moné should be strapped. She should be world champion. I think if you do it on day one, I think it's kind of lazy. And two, it just sets a really bad precedent for the girls in the locker room. So she should at least work towards it. In my opinion, they already have a gatekeeper character in Britt Baker.
That's exactly what I was going to say. She would be the perfect one. Maybe not right away, but eventually build to that.
If she's ready, I would do it right away because she's a gatekeeper. Like her whole thing in AEW has been gatekeeper. Like this is my company, and when the new girls come in from another place, I test these bitches. She did it to Thunder Rosa when she first got here. She's like, "Why is this NWA girl on my show taking our time?" And then they had their legendary feud. Then she did it with Saraya to a little bit less success, but ultimately the same character. So it serves two purposes because one, you put Britt Baker back in her heel position where she was more entertaining, and two, she's already the gatekeeper. You basically do this story where Mercedes Moné, wins the respect, quote unquote, of the AEW women's locker room by beating Britt Baker, one of their top girls. That's how I will book it, but I'm just talking shit as a fan.
At that point, here's where my issue with that comes in, though, especially if you do it right away. Because again, we just revisit that aspect of you come in and you beat our gatekeeper that's been with us since day one, and I don't know. I have very mixed feelings on that. I feel like they need to get somewhere into there first, like have a couple matches, building them up, and where like maybe Mercedes can help build up some of the younger girls to get their experience, like an Anna Jay or a Red Velvet.
There's this perception, right? There's a perception issue, and I think they have to be aware of it. When Mercedes comes in, her first program cannot be with a B girl. I'm sorry, like her very first program at AEW. It should not be with one of the B girls. It needs to be with one of the top girls.
Match wise, though,
that first match, like for sure, like you don't need to hold off until the pay-per-view. You know, for sure she should do Dynamite matches with the B girls, but her program, I think, should be the Britt Baker or someone of that stature first, and that should be made clear. I think if she just comes out. If she just comes out on the 13th and does her Mercedes pose and swings her ass or whatever, you know, like that's cool. All right, whatever. But they should set the let's get that shit rolling. Let's get the program rolling. We don't need the big stand in the spotlight and then leave. Okay, jump her ass. Get some heat on somebody. You know, like it's in Boston. Get the shit rolling. I want to see Mercedes inserted right into the situation. I don't want to have to wait until the next week then we're going to find out what Mercedes wants to do in AEW. Like,
next week, you know? Big announcement for Mercedes.
Yeah, big announcement from Tony Khan.
That's how I feel about it, though.
Yeah, there was another name we mentioned on there, just for the sake of throwing a different name out there, is Thunder Rosa. That might be another interesting person, especially when you talk about true gatekeepers and gaslighters and all of the kind. But I honestly, though, I think Thunder Rosa, Mercedes, that could be fun. Of course, Britt Baker, that was my personal choice, at least when it comes to building a big program towards. Jamie Hayter could be fun.
I still think out of the ones you guys have mentioned so far, Britt Baker sounds like the best one. Again, because John said the gatekeeping angle and all that kind of stuff.
Plus, they both bring that attitude.
Oh wait, she's from Pittsburgh? She's in Boston. There we go. Never mind. For some reason, I was gonna say they both have their hot NHL teams both have the same rough colors, so that's why I was kind of confused.
I mean, hey, you got the big city rivalries right there.
Yeah, put them on. But again, I do agree with the whole point that he's saying like you should like build it up, not just go here you go, here's the belt, have fun.
And the whole Deanna thing, or even just like if you are going to build that way, go with like a Britt Baker feud. Then we got a feud with like a Thunder Rosa, and then like hey, we'll build up to that with having you take on Mariah May or something, and then you can get into that area with Tony Storm because big money Mercedes.
I just can't wait to see
Hulk Hogan style contract.
I just can't wait to see when you call her what you want to call her, but Jamie Hayter when she comes back, that's what I'm waiting for. How long's it been now? Like almost a year?
It's been a while.
Just kidding. No, it's been forever and it sucks. But we'll
Speaking of, it's been forever and it sucks. We had Jericho taking on Konosuke Takeshita.
That
Jericho's
segue.
perpetual feud with the Don Callis family.
So-
one day, Chris Jericho will finish the story.
oh my god, we're going that way. No,
I couldn't resist.
I will say, don't blame you. I will say I had to go try and find my meds because I am slightly under the weather, and coincidentally during that match, I started coughing up lungs. So I had to run away and take care of that, and I found my medicine, took that, had to wait a few minutes to drink some water. I came back and I was like, oh, I didn't miss much, did I? Except for waiting for the story to finish, quote unquote.
Ooh, you had a near-death experience, and then Jericho's story was still going on.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Oh,
I will say I want to give Jericho some credit for trying to take some wild ass bumps these last couple weeks. I don't know what the fuck has gotten into him, but last week he tried to take the turnbuckle brainbuster and almost died. This week he took the fucking avalanche blue thunder bomb and again almost dies. So I'm just
Don't forget almost getting dropped on his skull outside the ring.
Insane. Like, he's working with these young guns and he's trying to keep up, and I will give him all the credit in the world for at least being willing to do it. But
Jericho's
I'm starting to get scared for him in these matches. And I kind of want him to stop.
Eventually Jericho's gonna take a massive bump to the head, like land on his head, and stand up and walk out of the building on his own and be like, I'm fine, guys.
It's that whole situation, the situationship, if you will, where Sting's just been hanging out with Darby a little too much, and Jericho's been hanging out with Sammy a little too much. But
damn, old guys and their stunt moves. Like, come on, guys.
I also really love the Oni mask on Takeshita, and that was a fun spot too, where Jericho put the Oni mask on and jumps down Takeshita, almost missed him because of the mask, and then the mask is broken on the ground.
I am digging that the Oni mask look, only because I do play horror games that involve an Oni, but also because it does fit, because the music, oh my god, excuse me, and all that kind of shenanigans they're pulling. But come on, you know what we all want right now, and let's end the story. Let's please just,
or at least take a little bit of a break. I need some breathing.
Don Callis versus Jericho Revolution. Let's go, please. Cage match, 15 minutes. I don't even care what they do. Just let them kill each other or Callis be a bitch and run.
Speaking of killing each other, I really respected too the continuance of the post-battle the belts rivalry with Hobbs and Sammy, with Hobbs getting involved and then Sammy running out with a chair. First shot, no effect on the giant, massive lats of Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs just tanking that like it was nothing. Throwing him, Sammy does the flippy stuff, gets him over. Chair shot to Hobbs' head.
Yeah, I thought we were done with chair shots to the head. What the hell?
I saw that. I was like, damn, that was insane.
Someone's getting sued.
But yeah, and throughout on my notes here for the show, I have Jericho took a hard landing on the outside. Jericho took a hard landing on the inside. Like, Jericho...
Stop!
I don't think he wants to have work his spine.
Stop!
He's getting too silly. He's just like Sting. But Don Callis using the screwdriver to screw over Jericho at the end of the match. Takeshita making Jericho tap with his own submission hold.
But like, okay, between Jericho and Sting, at least with Sting, like I'm not saying he's got their calculated spots and he's prepared, like this big speech. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just saying like it feels like Jericho's like, yeah, screw it, I'll hit this, and we're like, oh, okay, sure. Whereas Sting's like, how can I hit this and not kill myself? Like the fall off the the concrete walkway entrance, however you want to call it, like that spot. Or what pay-per-view was it when he versed the AHFO or whatever?
Yeah.
When he jumped off the whole thing, landed through like 3 or like 4 tables. Like Jericho needs to stop trying to measure up to Sting's insanity.
I think that's just what it is. It's trying to keep up with Sting. Not any of the young guys, just Sting.
And then the fact that like you've got Hardy, Sting, and Jericho hitting these wild moves.
Yeah.
It kind of, I wouldn't call it upsets me. It kind of scares me.
Yeah, because I think back to like while Darby had that crazy match with Jeff at the Owen Hart tournament where he took that dive off of the ladder to the chairs. Next to that moment was Jeff swantoning onto the side of the ring steps, just bouncing off of those.
I'm sorry, my back hurts right now thinking about these spots. Let's
No, exactly. And they made a point, too, to mention that Takeshita has defeated another former AEW World Champion. He's beaten Jericho. He's beaten Omega. And we saw him defeat Darby, and not just defeat him, but destroy him. Like, I really appreciate the way that they've been booking Takeshita.
I can't remember what episode we said or we were talking about it. I think John that said this, so I'm gonna give it to him on this one. I'm pretty sure. But if it's Revolution, whether it's Double or Nothing, All In, All Out, take your pick, which way you want to put it at. Takeshita and Ospreay is what he said.
That'd be great.
Give them half an hour. Let them go.
Man, that would be again because like Takeshita's what, like a 8 or 10 sport athlete. Like he's immensely strong. He's powerful. He's got size. And then Ospreay is
5.
Yeah, 6'5", 6'6", and Ospreay is just a complete athletic specimen. Like I have not seen anyone move like Ospreay in so many different capacities.
When you mention Ospreay right now, it reminded me that my personal want for Will Ospreay's match, if he has to match at Revolution, if he gets to have a match at Revolution, I want him to do Takeshita. I need Ospreay versus Takeshita immediately.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
I had to jump in and say that because I don't know what the fuck is going on. I told you guys I'm trying to deal with a power outage, but I wanted to make sure I also expressed my want for this match.
Do you
that
agree?
That match will generate all the power you need for your house.
John, do you agree? 30 minutes? 30 minutes for that one?
Oh. No, well, I think 25 is fine.
25?
Because 30 minutes in AEW is, if you're a singles match without a title, 30 minutes is the limit. I mean, if you want to go 29, 30, just to say you got 30 minutes. But, and it tells a good story, I guess. It leaves them really even if Takeshita had to fight him all the way into the very last second and then won. But I think you're cutting it really close. I think 25, 26, 27 is fine. They're both fucking awesome, though. That's going to be
John just wants to see that go down. He's like, you care.
It has to. I think it's already set up perfectly, honestly. I mean, Callis already stole Kyle Fletcher without permission. You know, they've got a whole thing set up there. We'll see,
Mark
though.
Davis? That's what we're waiting for next.
Get healed up. Did they address anything with Don Callis and Ospreay having any type of falling out? Because I know they were associated with one another, and I know Ospreay's still in the Contron.
I know he's part of things. I don't think he's part of that. I think he's just like a hired gun, if I'm not mistaken.
Because I know he's still in the Last Supper painting.
He's in the family. Like he's part of the Don Callis family officially, and not like hired or anything. So that's what I mean by it's already in there. Because like the association means it doesn't come out of nowhere. They could come up with whatever reason he decided. You know, like you didn't call me, Don. I've been gone for 6 months. You didn't call me not once. You know, like you can do whatever the fuck you want and set that up immediately. All he has to do is disrespect Don Callis once and get punched in the face by Takeshita. Boom, match is set up.
And
I mean, honestly, the way I see it, like you could easily do this to something like Takeshita's being built up as like this final boss type character, and Ospreay's like, excuse me, I'm Will Ospreay. I'm the final boss, not Takeshita.
I am the Ospreay.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly.
I also love that.
And then you know what they got to do too, right? They have to recreate the all-in entrance that he did with like the pyros, but like when he punches the ground, the entrance explodes. There you go.
Now, before we end the show, one of the things that again everybody liked that AEW stars visited all the cats and dogs within the Humane Society to promote Stupid Pet Tricks and the upcoming Puppy Bowl. I absolutely love just every year how AEW is like consistently involved with these types of initiatives, and on top of that, promoting things like the Puppy Bowl. And I know they've had like a couple like AEW references at the Puppy Bowl since Warner Brothers Discovery. So this is the type of wholesome quality content that I think is appropriate for when it comes time to end the talks for AEW Dynamite. And now, Megastar of the Night.
No, my microphone cut off for some reason. Smart like that. I was gonna say, who doesn't love being told, "Hey, go to this charity event or go to this kind of thing and like hang out with puppies and kittens and stuff like that."
And like a whole group of talent. You had the Guns. That was the only time we saw them. Bang Bang Scissor Gang going to hang out with some animals. I mean, honestly, if you are not going to go and fight the Undisputed Gents, I am glad that they are at least going to pet cats and dogs.
Hell yeah. But anyways,
yeah, that's what, honestly, let's take a field trip. Let's just go to the local animal shelters right now.
Don, can you pay for that? John, he's like, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm busy.
All right, Caesar, who's your mega star of the night?
I kind of want to put it on two guys because I mentioned them earlier, and they were
Good.
actually pretty bitching. Is Dorada and Hechicero. I don't know how to explain it. Like the way some of those moves he pulled, Hechicero specifically, like how he would like wrap his leg around like Claudio, and it would also be on the ground in like a weird like pinning predicament. I'm just like, did I miss something? Like, did my brain glitch sometime through this thing? Like, someone explain this. And then Dorada just hitting those weird spots, like in the weirdest times. I'm excited.
Hechicero is so fluid in everything he does.
That's what scares the shit out of me.
And it's with moves I've literally never seen before in my decades of watching wrestling.
You know who I would kind of want to? I mean, this might have happened. So if someone's watching this and they know this has happened, don't give me shit for this because I'm still kind of new to some lucha area wrestling. Can you imagine Hechicero and Penta?
Hey, if you could do that on the stage of AEW, I mean, there's been a lot of like when Black Taurus and Vikingo have wrestled like numerous times, but when they brought that to the stage of AEW and gave that, the exposure from the American crowd, I mean, that itself helped. I honestly build both those guys up.
Well, there's a lot of like, if this goes through and they like John was saying earlier about CMLL and AEW, and they do Forbidden Door in Mexico, woo. Ooh, that's all I can say. Oh,
there he is.
Hey, he's got power.
He's got power, yeah.
I don't actually. That's why my camera's so small. That's why I have fucking sound in the background because my power is still out. Look, check this out. So I got a light on, but nothing in my fucking. I can't flip the camera around. Nothing in my fucking living room turns on.
Oh, I've had it before. Actually. No
computer, no TV. My couch won't fucking turn on. This is horrible. Anyway, first world problems.
Let's go.
I've had that happen.
It sucks that we have 8 AAA wrestlers and CMLL wrestlers on the same card, but you know that they can never touch each other. They can never even be on screen together. It's this close, but so far away. I even wonder if they can be in the locker room together. Are they allowed to speak to each other?
I mean, honestly, too, like I feel like that's even more of a forbidden door than AEW and WWE working together is to get
it really
is and MLL to work together.
Oh my god!
Again, that would be a forbidden door all of its own, which would be insane.
Okay, awesome. What I was gonna say before, because I know John was trying to get his thing out of the way before he forgot. I had a place I was staying at one time where our power outage went out on our side of the house. But because my room was in the basement half of the house, my power was hooked up to our neighbors. So my whole bedroom had power, and I had internet, power, everything going on in my room the whole like day or so that we had no power in the rest of the house. It made zero sense. We had to run like extremely long extension cables through the whole house. Explain that one. Like it. I know, right? Even I was trying to process it when I was living in there. My room had like 6 cables coming out of it for like my friends.
Oh, man.
Made no sense. But anyways, who's your biggest star?
Man, when it comes down to generating that power, like the energy of that crowd was completely 100% behind my man Swerve Strickland. And again, like he was getting those same reactions of the last couple of weeks that Rob Van Dam and Jeff Hardy were getting. And for Swerve to be getting those to those other legends, like that's just fantastic. That's so cool.
It's great.
Again, Swerve is going to be the megastar, not just of this night, but he's also going to be my megastar this whole year. I'm already calling it. But that brings us to the other end of the spectrum. Who is within the Jabber of the night?
Oh, who do I pick? Who do I pick here? I kind of want to say Chucky T, to be honest. Like he's coming back to TV and all of a sudden gets whacked or gets knocked out or something, and then it's like, oh, Chucky C gone for a while, and it's like, man, bring him back already. It sucks he's off TV, but gotta wait. What about you?
My jobber of the night's going to be a double take. My jobbers of the night is going to be the Borden brothers, Sting's sons. Unfortunately, they just got hit once with the bat each and were just killed, and despite being absolutely completely jacked tanks. Honestly, again, they are so jacked. They are built. There's no way they're not trained at least somewhat. I hope that this leads to some type of a match or at least a fight type moment, like a backstage brawl or something to build up, because that would be fun.
No, they'll have the ref logic. They'll get hit once, never see him on TV again for about a month or two. Do a run in at the most random time.
No, exactly. And again, like they both look like they are perfectly capable of power bombing both of the Jacksons.
I'm gonna assume they're in their late 20s. My best guess.
20s, 30s, something like that. But
yeah, but they could easily step in the ring and do a few matches.
So, yeah, that's been the Dynamite Recap Show. We've hit past an hour. Thank you, chat, for joining us. Woo! Thank you, John, the fearless leader of Dirt Sheet Radio, for jumping in here and there. The ghost of Brian Danielson for being a part of this. Caesar, want to pop anything on there, plug?
Not much like usual, guys. Every Wednesday, I'm sitting here with Neek, and hopefully, I believe in our group's chat, we are being told that a few friends of ours are coming back pretty soon. But only way to find out is next week. We know these two are very excited to come back, but we got to wait. And we hope you guys do come next week and show them extreme amounts of love. And as always, guys, I am on the other show, on the Raw Monday night show with Tyler and Eduardo. So hope you see you guys there as well. Ooh, Neek, where can we find you?
Yes.
Where's your exact location?
I was told that TMZ already tried to get that from me, and I had enough of that. But no, so y'all can find me tomorrow morning on the Dirt Sheet Radio podcast. I'll be there with John, who may or may not jump on at some point on here while we end this, and our boy Greg. So that's going to be fun. Hey, anyone like some Halo videos, go check out YouTube channel Glitch Master. And on top of that, speaking of Halo, your boy is going to be on one of the Halo Mod Showcase. It's been delayed. It'll be the VKNT Halo Mod Showcase. Will be, I think, April now. But yeah, your boy's going to be representing Ruby's Rebalanced Halo 2. So go and check that out when the time comes. And John.
Boom. Catch us. Catch Dirt Sheet Radio streaming live every single fucking day.
Yes.
Except for Sunday. But even some of those Sundays. We're streaming live after Raw, after NXT, after Dynamite, after Impact, free Scott D'Amore, after SmackDown, after Collision, and after pay-per-views. I don't know if I'm going to be on the DSR tonight because of my power situation.
Dun, dun, dun.
But we will have an episode out, whether it means it's just Greg and Nick or whether it's me jumping on at noon to do a live stream. I don't know what it's going to be like, but we will talk because it's such a damn big week in pro wrestling that I can't even exist. You just can't just let Dirt Sheet Radio not exist. So we'll be here one way or another, and we'll see you guys.
Woo!
See ya
Later.
Peace.